You're watching Good Morning Utah with Brian Carlson, Jillian Smuckler, and Thomas Keyboy.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Jillian Smuckler.
And I'm Brian Carlson. The time is 7:29 on this Monday. Thanks for sticking with us on Utah's CW30. We continue to follow breaking news of major traffic issues on I-15 in Davis County. At one point this morning, the freeway was closed in both directions. Here's a live look at the backups we're still seeing right now. Look at that. A large power line fell on I-15 at Parrish Lane in Centerville, and this is the backup they're still dealing with. Now, believe it or not, the freeway has since reopened, but it's a parking lot on southbound I-15. ABC4's Ali Rulian is live at the scene of the crash there on I-15. So, Ali, how's it looking at the crash site?
Well, you can see behind me, you see that semi-truck that tipped over is still being cleared by crews. Thankfully, northbound has opened up, but we only see one lane of southbound traffic open, and it is just causing so much congestion as there's still so much cleanup left to do before traffic's back to normal. I talked with a Utah State Trooper earlier saying the power line's transformer blew, and then a semi-truck hauling a container hit the power line, crashed, and overturned. They're saying the truck then hit the center median, sending concrete debris into northbound lanes, causing damage to multiple cars. To make matters worse, they say a Union Pacific train then struck the downed power line. Thankfully, traffic is slowly starting to open up.
Southbound's been closed for a while. We just barely opened one lane to southbound. Also, the Parrish Lane on-ramp is now open. And then people coming southbound can also take Legacy.
Now, no injuries have been reported. Thankfully, the trooper said that the truck driver only had a bit of bangs and bruises. It's also not believed to be weather caused. Earlier today it was raining and snowing. Now it's about cleared up. And so it's still going to take a while before traffic's back to normal, and we'll keep you updated here on ABC4. Reporting live in Davis County, I'm Ali O'Rulian, ABC4 News.
Thank you, Ali. This morning, we're learning more about a man hit and killed by a front-runner train while riding his bike in Murray. The Utah Transit Authority says the 20-year-old crossed the tracks on Saturday while the arm was down. UTA tells us he waited for a train to pass but didn't realize one was coming from the opposite direction. He started riding across the tracks and was hit and killed. UTA is now reminding Utahns to never cross those tracks when the gates are down.
It happens very quickly, and we've had this now happen 2 times in about the last 3 weeks, and we really want to caution people. You should always be careful around a railroad crossing, but after these 2 incidents, it really should heighten everybody's awareness.
Now, that crash shut down the front runner between Salt Lake and Murray for several hours this weekend.
Happening today, the TV personality known as Dog the Bounty Hunter is arriving in Utah to try and solve the murders of 2 women in Moab. The reality TV star and private investigator posted on social media. He's coming to town to look into the deaths of Crystal Turner and Kylan Schulte. The 2 women's bodies were found at a campsite just outside of Moab last August. Dog says Schulte's father's asked him to step in. Meanwhile, a local private investigator hopes the bounty hunter's star power can get this case solved.
He does have national recognition. He does have international appeal. He's going to turn the cameras into the area and start a conversation about the Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner case all over again.
Now, Dog and his team are asking people to check any cameras or drones you may have had from mid-August last year.
In West Valley City, we're learning more about the man shot and killed while sitting inside a car. Police say 45-year-old Pete Ubari was shot in the back of the head Thursday. Ubari was taken to the hospital in critical condition, where his wife tells us he died the next day. She's now pleading for answers as police try to find his killer.
I want whoever did this to be, held accountable. I want to know, like, why. I mean, it doesn't make sense why.
Now, police did say they found a car right outside the hospital with a bullet hole through the back window. But at this point, they're not releasing any other information about his death or potential suspects.
Good morning, Utah. Here's the view from down St. George with our Southern Utah University camera network. Blowing dust still continues to be an issue down across the southwest desert as it is a hazy start to the morning. Meanwhile, in the northern half of the state, it is a completely different story as we have seen times of snow not only for the Wasatch back. like this in Jordanelle Reservoir, but we've also seen times of snow even along parts of the Wasatch Front. The roadways, they're running slick. Most of the roads, except for the higher elevations, have been running okay, but definitely on the slippery side, so be careful as you get ready to head off to work or school. And speaking of school, your school day forecast for Salt Lake City holding on to that slight chance through around 9-10 o'clock, but it really looks like that chance is ending. And then by noon, temperatures only in the middle 40s, getting into the upper 40s by the heart of the afternoon, but we will see the temperature eventually climbing into the lower and middle 50s along the Wasatch Front for that daytime high. So temperatures will be more than 10 degrees below average in northern Utah, 47 in Logan, 45 in Rock Springs, 60 degrees in Vernal. In the southeastern half of the state, it's going to be warmer, but it's going to come with areas of patchy blowing dust. It will also come with an elevated fire risk from Moab all the way down towards St. George. As we check our traffic out there this morning, the big accident we continue to follow is I-15 southbound in Centerville. It looks like a parking lot out there as 5 lanes try to condense down into 1 lane. If you're traveling on I-15 southbound, I'm going to say it time and time again, take Legacy Parkway, but that's not the only road blockage that we're dealing with this morning. We also have one US 40 westbound road blocked between State Route 32 and Exit 8 Utah 319. So if you're looking at US 40 right there, got a big slowdown in that area as well, as it looks like there's a little bit of confluence happening there. So take an alternate route if you're planning on traveling towards Park City. From Provo to Salt Lake City, though, that drive time's actually okay. That's 37 minutes, but that's one of the very few that's on time this morning. Safe travels.
Give yourself some extra time this morning. Thank you, Thomas. New this morning, we're getting our first look at the investigation into a plane crash that killed 3 people near Cedar City last month. ABC4's Bob Bador is there live in Studio B this morning. So, Bob, what are federal investigators saying about this crash?
Well, Brian, we're seeing just a bit of new information about the crash that took the life of Utah County Sheriff's Deputy Stephen Eichel, his wife, and others. Now, this report says Eichel rented the plane at a Spanish Fork Municipal Airport with planned stops around various parks in Utah. One witness said they saw a plane believed to be the accident plane flying very low, about 200 to 300 feet above ground, before suddenly moving quickly left and right like a rocking motion. Another witness report matched that flying level, but said the plane banked very hard south across the highway as if it were trying to turn around in the narrow canyon. The witness further said that at that point the wings were vertical and the airplane didn't appear to have enough speed to pull off the maneuver. Now, this first responders later located the wreckage while responding to a vegetation fire, and this is a preliminary report, and we'll have more information as it becomes available. From Studio B, I'm Bob Bador.
Thank you, Bob. Time now is 7:37. Still ahead on GMU, taking a look at TV in a much simpler time. We'll show you a live telewedding from the early days of ABC4 News. And trust me, it's worth watching. Plus, making the extraordinary look easy. Find out how many times one man climbed Mount Everest to set a new world record. And don't forget, staying informed has never been easier. ABC4 News is there for you. To get your news straight to your phone, just download that ABC4 News app. All you have to do is scan that QR code right there on your screen. And as we head to the break, let's take a live look at downtown Salt Lake City on this Monday, where we got some wetness out there on the roads, but otherwise looks pretty good. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Growing up, many of us assumed that there would always be something to watch on TV. But our station has been on the air long before there were recorded shows and networks. The ABC4 of decades past had to come up with content to fill their shows, including a live televised wedding. It's a pretty sweet story, and trust me, it's worth watching.
So this is what folks saw on TV in 1948. With no network and only live TV, twins played the piano, twins tap danced, folks juggled, and then there was a real great idea. How about a telewedding? Now how cool is that? 5 years ago we found a couple pictures of it and we showed it. The winners had written an essay on why they wanted a home. That was first prize, but there was also the telewedding on TV from the fairgrounds. Well, the piece aired, the newscast ended, the phone rang, and there was this couple, and they said, hey, we were the ones in the telewedding. Now, as we're about to have our 75th anniversary, so are they.
We're having a sandwich, and we found on the counter a little tab where they were announcing this contest at the Utah Home Show. And it was to write an essay on what it means to own your own home.
Yes, Veer McHenry was in love with Barbara Jean Oliver. But they were going to wait a couple of years to get married, although the essay seemed like a swell thing to write.
It was just a lark that we filled out that application, a little essay that they had us write.
And then it happened. Yes, in front of a television camera. They would be married. It was live and special. To this day, she has her wedding dress from the telewedding.
They had us march in, and her father brought her down the aisle and turned her over to me.
There were only a few TVs in Utah then. Store owners put televisions in their store windows, and they set out chairs so customers could see this odd thing called television. That's how their friends saw the telewedding.
There was a television set in the window of Murray Music, and they said they had a big crowd out there that watched it from there.
Barbara Jean's dad also had a rare television in his tavern, so he was already a fan. This was great.
Dad kind of liked it, didn't you?
They were pretty excited.
Yeah, I think they were.
Probably more than we were.
I think so.
Now, Channel 4 did its part, the live telewedding, but some other sponsors, well, some things kind of got lost. There was a promise for a house, at least a really good price for a house, and that didn't quite happen.
One of the people there that was in charge said something about they would move that home onto a site and they would give us the down payment for the house. And that's as much as we ever heard.
And a promise of a night at the Hotel Utah Bridal Suite.
We went over to the hotel, and the bridal suite was booked, as was every other room in the Hotel Utah. So they housed us that night in the band room with all the instruments.
Believe me, our station would like to make that up to you 74 years later. Oh wait, sorry, the Hotel Utah is gone.
I can't promise you the Hotel Utah, but at least we can promise it's going to be on.
It's good.
Yeah, I always loved you. I knew you'd do something good.
You know, they're so nice. Now, I really feel bad about the mix-up at the Hotel Utah, and I wasn't even born then. But they did get the honeymoon.
A very nice, all-expense honeymoon in Elko, Nevada.
You know, Veer says what they didn't get doesn't matter. He got Barbara Jean.
That was the grand prize.
All from the 1948 telewedding, and a really sweet couple. Craigworth, ABC 4 News.
Such a good love story. Now, Craig says this might be the happiest ending to what most likely is our first TV reality show where the real bachelor met the real bachelorette.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Thomas Keyboy. Weather rates certified 11 years in a row.
All right, the time is 7:44. Let's check your weather on the 4s with meteorologist Thomas Gieboy. You know, Thomas, I'll tell you, I wasn't expecting snow in May this morning.
Yeah, we saw snow along the Wasatch Front this morning. We've seen snow in Logan. We've also seen just times of snow for the Wasatch back. So this morning the roads are a little bit slippery. We haven't really seen in the lower elevations anyway snow stick to the roadway, but when you get above 8,000 feet, that's when you start to get a little bit hit or miss right there. But as we go from the morning into the afternoon, the chance for wet weather will start to clear in northern Utah. Still going to see below average temperatures, but in southern Utah, we're going to be finding more times of patchy blowing dust. And then by midweek, could see another disturbance ahead of what's going to be a big warm-up by this upcoming weekend. We'll talk more about all of that in just a minute, but it's 40 degrees right now in Salt Lake City. Have that extra layer ready to go as you head out the door. 37 degrees down in Cedar City, 53 degrees in St. George. So after a chilly start to the morning, it's going to be a cool day, but the wet weather that we're currently seeing in the northern half of the state, that will continue to move away as high pressure starts to filter its way in. So as we go from this morning into the afternoon, we'll see drying conditions, but hopefully we see at least a little bit more snow in the higher elevations. This is the view from Alta, where it looks like we picked up around a foot of snow from this particular storm. We'll take everything that Mother Nature throws our way when it comes to moisture, because we need all of it. Here's the view from Monument Valley. It's a little bit hazy out there in Monument Valley, only because we do have times of patchy blowing dust. And we're going to see more of that in southern Utah throughout today, thanks to those strong winds. And our temperatures, we're going to be seeing those daytime highs be climbing just a little bit below our seasonal averages, or about 10 degrees below our seasonal average. For some reason, the graphic didn't want to load. 53 degrees in Salt Lake City, 53 degrees in Provo, 56 in Delta, 57 in Cedar City. The warmest part of the state is actually going to be southeastern Utah, as it's going to take a little while longer for that cold front to work its way through there. Now we can begin the FUTURECAST at 8 o'clock this morning, and as we go from this morning into the afternoon, that high pressure moves in. I still think there will be at least a slight chance for some snow in the highest elevations, and also a slight chance for wet weather very close to the Utah-Idaho line. But as that high pressure filters in, that drier air will as well. And then by tomorrow morning, mostly dry across the state. Winds will be calm, skies will be mostly clear. That's a recipe that's going to allow for some pretty cold temperatures tonight, where we'll have a hard freeze warning go into effect for eastern Box Elder County and down towards Cache Valley. And then into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, winds are going to be increasing out of the southwest. And you can get a glimpse of that here with the FUTURECAST winds, where south central Utah is where the strongest winds are going to be for today. And then tomorrow, could even see some strong winds stretching up towards the southern Wasatch Front. But look at southern Utah. We could see some wind gusts possibly between 30 and 40 miles per hour, maybe even getting upwards of 50 miles per hour. Because of the dry and windy conditions today, we do have an elevated fire risk from St. George to Moab, while that critical fire risk stays to our south. But the critical fire risk does make its way into parts of south central Utah tomorrow, in parts of Kane County and also San Juan County around Lake Powell, as the elevated fire risk even stretches north of I-70. As for St. George, patchy blowing dust for today, a little bit warmer Tuesday and Wednesday, still windy, but then we'll see calmer winds and even warmer temperatures by this weekend along the Wasatch Front. That chance for wet weather will start to end, dropping to 36 tonight, middle 60s tomorrow. Chance late on Wednesday, chance early on Thursday as a weak disturbance moves in. Then it's 70s by this weekend, maybe getting close to 80 degrees by Sunday. As we check our traffic, I-15 southbound in Centerville. It's a parking lot out there, and that's because of the 5 lanes trying to condense down into 1 lane. Take Legacy Parkway. If you're traveling that area, we also have the blockage on US 40 south of Park City, and that's going to be I-40 westbound. So this morning, build in plenty of time for that morning commute, especially on I-15 near Centerville. Safe travels.
Thank you, Thomas. It was a big weekend for athletes in St. George as the city hosted the Ironman World Championship. Now, it was the first time the race was held outside of Hawaii. The 2,800 athletes competing swam 2.4 miles at Sand Hollow Reservoir, biked 112 miles, and then ran a marathon. Christian Blumfelt of Norway won the men's title, while Daniela Wright of Switzerland won the women's, earning her 5th world title.
In Salt Lake City, local refugee advocates helped 400 refugees celebrate Mother's Day over the weekend. The Utah Refugee Connection teamed up with local businesses to give those women gift bags and make Utah feel more like home.
Anyone that's been in a new situation knows how uncomfortable it can be when you don't know anyone, you don't feel like you're a part. And we really want these women to know they belong here and that we want them, you know, to plant themselves here and become a beautiful part of this garden that is our community.
It's a wonderful gesture of outreach. Now, the women receive gift bags with things like necklaces, perfume, lotions, and potted plants.
Well, the world's best cornhole players visited Utah over the weekend. They competed at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy to try and qualify for the World Championship. The event was put on by the American Cornhole League, and lots of celebrities came out to show their support, including Lisa Barlow from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and former NFL star and BYU alum Kyle Van Noy. Now, hear why the league chose Utah to host this year's competition.
Utah is a different place for us. Your rules are a little bit different, so my players are still adjusting to some things. We are still adjusting to some things, but overall, we are all very excited about the view that we are living in right now because it is probably one of the most beautiful places we have ever visited.
Agree with her. Now, there was over $65,000 in cash payouts for the winners this weekend. This is the third out of 6 total events needed to qualify for the World Championships.
In national news, a come-from-behind victory shocked the nation over the weekend at the Kentucky Derby. Here was the call down the final stretch.
Strike is coming up on the inside. Oh my goodness, the longest shot has won the Kentucky Derby.
Can you feel the excitement? Last-minute entry, Rich Strike broke away from the pack and won the Derby in the final seconds. At 80-to-1 odds, he was the second longest shot in race history. Now, for perspective, if you put $2 down on Rich Strike, you would have made $163.
Not a bad bet, that's for sure. Can you believe that? And he almost didn't participate, too. That's the crazy thing.
You look at the backstory to the horse and, of course, the owner. I mean, they almost retired years ago.
Something in him said, don't do it. There we go. It's proof. Never give up.
Maybe they were going to strike Rich.
Oh, they struck it rich. That's for sure.
Yeah, they did.
Meanwhile, a Georgia school is making a unique twist to their yearbook this year. This year's edition of the yearbook will be 3D. A local university printed the 3D yearbooks for the Georgia Academy of the Blind. So inside each of those boxes is a 3D print of every student's face that blind students can then feel to remember what their classmates looked like.
That is genius. That is a really smart way to do that.
Well, especially if you're a blind student. I mean, you don't have the same opportunities as everyone else.
No, but you should be able to enjoy it. I mean, I remember yearbooks was so much fun. When they came out every year, everyone went crazy for them. So I'm glad that they have something they can enjoy, too.
Does this make you self-conscious at all about how you're being portrayed?
Oh, yeah.
An accurate sculpture?
I'd be talking to whoever's making those and saying, look, buddy, we could do this the easy way or the hard way. You better make me look good or we're going to have some serious problems.
I will a little off the top. I want those ears tucked back just a little more.
Make some changes, but yeah, no, that's great to see.
Wonderful.
Well, here's something else that's great to see. This morning, there's a new record at the highest mountain in the entire world. An experienced Sherpa guide, you see him right there, scaled Mount Everest for the 26th time. Not the first, not the second, 26, you guys. That's
wild.
So wild. So the 52-year-old is breaking his own record for the most climbs of the world's highest peak. So he first started doing this back in 1994, and ever since then, he's really been making the trip, and obviously it's paying off. I mean, he's the only one who keeps beating his own record over and over.
Yep, and for perspective, the highest mountains in Utah, the Uintas, 13,000 feet. Mount Everest, a little over 29,000 feet.
Can you believe
Isn't that wild? I mean, that's twice the height. So if you have any, you've spent any time hiking in Utah, imagine doing that double over.
Yeah.
In those kind of conditions that we're used to with Mount Everest.
Very, very impressive.
Huge accomplishment.
Yes, it is. In terms of our weather, Thomas, I mean, now would be not so great hiking weather, right? I mean, the snow and the rain, I know people love it, but
it depends on what kind of hike you want to go for.
I guess so.
There are some people that are into it.
My wife is one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the conditions are. But as we go from the morning into the afternoon, our skies will continue to clear. We're already seeing a lot more sunshine breaking through the Wasatch Front. That's actually just really pretty out there. As the Oakers have some fresh snow, it definitely doesn't look like May 9th, and at Utah State University in Logan still got a few snowflakes falling here and there.
Yeah, you can see a couple of those glinting in the sun.
Yeah, so we're still getting a little bit of snow up in Cache Valley, but that chance will be ending. And while down in Cedar City, Southern Utah University, it's just some extra cloud coverage, but just south of Cedar City, we got patchy blowing dust. It's a chilly start to the morning, and it's going to be a cool day with daytime highs ranging about 10 to 15 degrees below average. 53 in Salt Lake City. We should be in the upper 60s for this time of year. And St. George will be in the lower 70s with more patchy blowing dust. But a lot of that dust is actually going to be concentrated to south central and southeastern Utah. I-15 southbound, Centerville, parking lot. Take Legacy Parkway between Ogden and Salt Lake City if you plan to travel I-15 southbound. We also have the blockage on US 40, SR 32, but there's your parking lot right there. 5 lanes of traffic trying to join to 1 lane of traffic as that accident slowly clears. So again, take Legacy Parkway, but our drive times other than that are actually still looking pretty good for most of the Wasatch Front, where Salt Lake City to Tukwila, 33 minutes. Safe travels, and don't forget, if you want to take your weather with you on the go, just download the Pinpoint Weather app. Just scan the QR code right there on your screen. It's that easy.
And if you're driving on I-15, you'll have time to look at that weather app this morning.
Yeah, you'll just be sitting there, so you can actually look at your phone while you're just sitting there.
Brutal.
It's been that way for hours this morning.
Hours. And it's gotten worse.
Nightmare. Take a different route, that's for sure. Thank you, Thomas. It's baby birthday time. We actually have 2 we're going to celebrate today. We're going to start with Courtney Parfitt right here. She's turning 26 today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Her mom sent this in, said she just graduated from dental hygiene school. Very impressive. So hope you're enjoying your day, Courtney. And we're also celebrating our very own floor director, Noah. He is turning 28, but this throwback, it kills me. He's so cute.
Look at that cute little smile.
Oh, I love it, Noah. I'm sure you're already celebrating out there because Noah took the day off. So happy birthday to you. And don't forget, we love celebrating all your birthdays. Make sure to send us a baby picture. Email it to news@abc4.com.
That's it for us. Thanks for making us part of your morning.
We'll see you right back here tomorrow.